Go ahead and close your eyes. Allow your shoulders to drop away from your ears. Allow the muscles in the face to droop down. Unclench your jaw. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Go ahead and open your eyes. Hello and welcome to Mindful Moves. I'm so grateful you're here. My name is Dan and we are going to be diving into a beautiful, beautiful episode about filling up your cup. And I didn't really know this term until a couple years ago. I firmly believed in, through what society had taught me, what had been passed down to me, that you are supposed to sacrifice yourself and your body in the name of love or in the name of responsibility. And that meant having no boundaries. That meant doing everything for everyone else, whether that's your partner, parents, boss, and always running on empty. And I think a lot of us live in this world still. We live in this world of general just sacrifice and pouring so much out and never really refueling ourselves. And what this can look like is someone who puts everything into their job, focuses their whole life and puts their whole body on the line just for their job. The stress that comes with it, making sure to please everybody there, to be the best at what you do, and really just not taking time for yourself to balance out the rest of your being. And as much as this can look like disguised, because some people look like high achievers and they're doing fine, but burnout is inevitable if you don't have balance in your life. And this is a key aspect of filling up your cup. I remember speaking about this to people in the beginning, and people would say, no, but it's selfish. It's selfish to just think about yourself and your cup and doing things for yourself. And I'd like you to remember that this is such a great lesson from nature. Nature is a very flowing entity. It flows from summer into winter. It rests when it needs to. The leaves fall off when trees are going through that process. The rivers flow and the trees grow, and it's all a very natural process with no rush, no intensity, and always looking after what it's going through. So I think that we can take this huge lesson, because the more that you fill up your own cup, and I'll speak a little bit more about what you can do to do that, the more you're going to be able to pour out. So imagine your cup is empty and you are just pouring to everybody. You're giving your energy to everyone around you, even though you don't have extra energy. Your cup is empty. You eventually start burning at the bottom. It's you burning out. It's just gas at this point, and now it's smoke. And now you're in alarm state and your body is burnt out, and it takes so long to rebuild from there that if you are able to rather implement maintenance right now, you're so much better off. And I'd like to speak a little bit more about what you can do in these instances. And when it comes down to it, it's about doing the things that feel good to you. And now, if you have been disconnected for a long time with yourself and how you feel and what it means to have an equilibrium, it's okay. It can feel confusing in the beginning. It can feel like, I don't even know what my baseline is. I don't know where to start. Where you can start is, like I always say, start by being mindful. Look at how you are with your family. Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom. Maybe you have a job. Whatever it may be, wherever you're putting your energy into, what consumes most of your day when you're not asleep. With that, ask yourself, are you pouring from a place of overflow? Are you so filled up that the rest is extra that you're happy to share with everyone? Or are you pouring from an empty cup? And that would look like never having time for yourself, sacrificing your life for others, their opinions, their actions, whatever it may be. You're pouring out for something similar to approval. And take a moment. Take a moment. Where in your life does this fit in? Does it fit in anywhere? And where could you take some time for yourself? Once you are mindful of where it's happening, please practice non-judgment, because it's okay that you're at this stage. Even if you've done this for many years, there's always the time to change that. And as we've spoken about a lot, repetition is key with this. Start implementing something that sits right with you to fill up your cup. Now, what we've been practicing the last few months, we've been doing breath, movement, and this month we're doing being out in nature. Those are generally things that fill up our cup, and I really implore you to do them because they're such a great nervous system regulation tools. But if you have anything else that you'd like to add, this is the time for that. There's so much space for it. Whether you're someone who really has always been very artistic and you love to draw or make art, or maybe you love to dance or sing, maybe you love long walks in nature, whatever it is that makes you feel like you again and brings you from that, you'll know that feeling of everything inside you is buzzing. You kind of feel out of breath, but you haven't really done anything. You're so busy. You're high on this stress, and it's a normal feeling to have this high feeling from cortisol. So cortisol is our stress hormone, and now people like to demonize cortisol, but it plays its role in our body. But we are now accustomed to producing too much cortisol because of the stresses in our life. And I think once you realize that that feeling is addictive, that's where the whole game changes. I never knew that. I assumed that anything bad for our body or overproduced for our body, we would know, okay, we're going to change this and it will be easy because that thing is not good for us. But it's actually the opposite. Your body is, like I've explained in the first month of this, the primal brain loves comfort zone. So any sort of change is going to feel threatening, even if you're trying to change things that are actually not doing you any well. So high cortisol in people can feel addictive because it's what your body knows. In the simplest terms, it feels comfortable. So that's why it's actually harder for people to sit down and do nothing. It's harder for people in high stress situations to just pause and be with themselves. A lot of us have not developed the practice to sit with ourselves and be with ourselves because it's difficult, especially in the beginning when you've never done something like that. It's hard to spend time with yourself if there's a lot of suppressed emotions or if you've just never nurtured that relationship with yourself. And a lot of the time, I think we stay in that cycle of, we know that we're stressed out, we know that we are not feeling completely calm, regulated, and we are pouring all of our energy into all of the external factors around us. I see a lot of this. This started with me noticing how many moms do this. Moms pour this energy into their whole families, especially if they're a stay-at-home mom and the partner goes to work. They pour their energy into it, and eventually they lose a sense of self. And anybody can do this, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad, maybe you work a very hectic job, whatever it may be. If you're constantly consumed by something that is elevating your stress and you're burning from an empty cup, and then you continue to keep giving and giving and giving when you no longer have anything to give, your body is not going to be happy with you, and it might not show and manifest right now. Maybe you'll be okay for now and you're living off the caffeine and you're getting your energy from external sources. But there are ways to nurture this well of energy inside. And I firmly believe that that comes through filling up your cup. Do what really makes you happy, what brings you peace. And an example from my life is, so often I used to go against what I actually felt like doing because I felt it was the right thing to do. So an example of this was, at some point I would go out and I would see my friends, and it would be a lot of people, and we'd go out to maybe to a restaurant or to a bar, and socialize in that way. And I never realized it before because I was completely oblivious, but I'm such a homebody. I love to be at home. I love to be in my own space. I'm someone who energizes by being alone. And so often I would force myself to go into situations and I would feel so overwhelmed. My cup was completely empty and I'd get back not feeling better. And obviously the people I was around are amazing. That wasn't the point. It was more the interactions that I chose to do. And shifting that now to, okay, I love to go on walks. So now I go on walks with my friends. I love to have one-on-ones and sit down and have catch-ups and have slow meetings and deep connections, or going to a yoga class, or things that bring me joy have completely shifted once I started looking at what fills me up, what makes me feel better. And another huge thing is having my routine and making sure to spend time in nature, to breathe, to move, to be with myself and my thoughts, even when it's hard. And this has just created this well of peace within me that whatever's happening on the outside, I feel okay. Even when it's hard, I feel okay because I'm not at my lowest level. When you've completely emptied your cup, and you have been for many years, and you keep on burning, it's like running on empty. Your car has no more fuel and you're just pushing. And learning that is a great act of self-love. And with all of these episodes, I know from personal experience and speaking to others that these are not easy things to navigate. It's in no way easy. It's hard to develop a self-practice. It's hard to develop a system that works for you because it can feel lonely at times. Taking yourself out of situations that no longer serve you can feel exhausting because you're having to build a whole new routine. Maybe your friends don't want to spend time with you because they don't want to go on a early morning hike. They'd rather go out to a bar, and you lose touch of your reality as you know it. And it's not an easy thing to erase everything that you've done until now. It's not. But that's why we do it step by step. And it's never, ever going to feel as hard as living a life where you are constantly drained and your cup is empty. And you just have to really, and I love this quote where it says, just choose your hard. Both are going to be difficult. But the one is going to have an outcome that is going to be different to the living reality you have right now. And isn't that exciting? Isn't that worth exploring? And ultimately, it's your choice. It's your choice if you decide, okay, I'm going to go inside, I'm going to explore what it is that makes me happy or brings me joy or brings me peace. And I'm going to implement 10 minutes of that or whatever it may be. You may have found that through implementing things like breath or movement or being in nature, that does that for you. Either way, find what it is, because your cup deserves to be full. And so much of this conversation really centers around not feeling like a priority, not feeling like you're worthy of spending the time on yourself. And sitting with yourself is never going to be an easy thing in the beginning. But I can guarantee you that eventually, and it comes sooner than you'd expect, you're going to enjoy that time. You're going to enjoy spending time with yourself. And there is nothing better than the feeling of knowing that you're taking care of yourself. Not many people have had the luxury of having caretakers who really took care of them in childhood. Not many people have lived a life of peace. And even though it feels comfortable to stay in that life, it's really, it's an option. I love to tell people that it's an availability to you. You have full access, as anybody else in this world does, to have peace, to feel happiness, to feel okay. And I think we just lose sight of that because we're in this rhythm of life and we're busy and I'll move it to next Monday. I'll do it next month, next year, New Year's resolution. Why would you delay giving that time to yourself if you've been neglecting yourself for so long? It's really your time to say, okay, every day I have this tiny gift. I really have this tiny gift and it's in the form of your day. How can I implement things that fill up my cup? And it doesn't happen overnight. Of course, you need to practice this. And the more you do these things, the more you fill up your cup. And again, I've mentioned this before, but it builds such huge confidence. It builds confidence in yourself to know that you could look at somebody and say, actually, no, I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to spend some time with myself. And developing these boundaries is not the easiest thing, especially when it comes to friends and families and letting people down, or even your work colleagues or boss or whatever it may be. But ultimately, boundaries have such a beautiful place in society. And although boundaries, the word can feel like, you're putting up fences around you, it's actually the opposite. You're actually allowing people to understand how best to love you. And I think that this is really the key throughout. And if you are able to develop these in soft, gentle ways, you will be able to implement them much easier. The key here is being sure of them yourself. You need to learn how to love yourself and how you can best fill up your cup. And then you can slowly teach people how to do that. And it's a beautiful journey to go on. And I really recommend that people take a moment. Take a moment for yourself. Audit your life is one of my favorite things to say. Check in where there's room for your cup to be filled. And I'd like to mention that filling up your cup is the least selfish thing that you can do. Because when you're filling up your cup and it slowly starts to rise, you're starting to feel yourself again, you actually start to overflow. So it gets to a point of overflow. There's so much extra that with that is what you pour into others. That is what you pour into others. If I was sitting here and I was giving you everything, my whole cup, I was just pouring to you, and then I left the session feeling empty, that wouldn't be beneficial for anybody. Because you would feel that. And I'm here giving you my extra. My cup is full, and I'm giving you what's pouring over. And you can do that with any situation in your life. It's really just a choice. And like I say, this is a process. And giving yourself time, practicing non-judgment, and just really being there for yourself is key in this situation. So I'm going to leave you with the light that you're constantly seeking on the outside is waiting to be acknowledged within. Thank you for being here. Have a beautiful day and enjoy the rest of your week. Much love.